branch manager, knew me because I had helped her son secure an internship the previous year. She always recalled that. I explained my request. Freeze the card, remove my name from the shared account, and flag all future transactions for approval. She nodded, didn't ask too many questions, and simply guided me through it, one calm step at a time. I left the bank an hour later, carrying a folder of papers and a peculiar sense of calm in my chest. Not necessarily relief, but rather clarity. It was as if I had finally quit attempting to win a game I had never agreed to. Back home I didn't text them, warn them, or hint at anything. I ordered sushi, put on a movie I had been intending to see, and laid back on my couch in silence. At 11:42 p.m., Celine sent another message to the group chat. "Elmo, why is the card declining?" Mom said, "Mine too. Is the app down?" Then Celine said, "I just tried at Kroger and it's not working, like at all." Nonetheless, I said nothing. I closed the app and went to bed. The next morning began like any other until it didn't. My phone had 10 missed calls from my mother. Celine left 5 voicemails. The texts piled up like spam. "Mike, what is going on? Did you change something? Call me back. Are we locked out of the account? Why is the landlord here?" I blinked and scrolled slowly. The landlord apparently showed up at their home that morning to inquire about the rent because the autopay had bounced. I'd also canceled that. The same goes for the energy bill, water, and internet. I hadn't told them yet, but I was in the process of moving the lease to my new name. I didn't need them living in my house anymore. I even spoke with an attorney about how to lawfully evict a family member if they refused to go. It was not about vengeance. It was about setting limits, finding serenity, and finally saying enough. But I hadn't written back yet, not that day. Instead, I went to work, answered emails, made small conversation with co-workers, who did remember my birthday, bless their souls, and left calls from Celine and my mother on voicemail. By the evening, they were texting stuff like, "Are you okay? Please just let us know what's going on." But I wasn't in a hurry to explain for once. They were the ones who remained in the dark. For once, they were scrambling. That weekend I received a text message from my cousin Sarah, the only family member who has ever made an effort to connect with me. She claimed Celine had posted something passive-aggressive on Instagram. Crazy how people change when you rely on them, and Mom had responded with a sad face emoji. Sarah inquired whether everything was fine. I assured her I was fine and that I had finally drawn a line. I didn't expect her to say, "Good, honestly, they've been awful to you for years, you don't deserve that." Maybe it shouldn't have mattered so much, but it did. However, that was not the end of it. Monday morning began with a knock on my flat door. It wasn't the expected delivery. It was from Celine. Hood up, eyes swollen, and arms crossed. "Can we talk?" she inquired. And for a moment, I considered inviting her in. But then I remembered the text, the thumbs up, the groceries I'd paid for, the bills I'd covered, and the years of being treated as if I weren't there until they needed something. So I stepped out and closed the door behind me. She moved uncomfortably. "You froze everything?" I nodded. "Yeah. Why?" I did not respond right away. I just looked at her and really looked at her and saw the same entitlement, the same arrogance, but shattered at the edges. She huffed. "Look, if this is about that dumb text," and that is where I cut her off. "Don't," I responded quietly and firmly. "Don't call it dumb. Don't pretend it was a joke, you meant it." Celine rolled her eyes, yet there was a hint of uncertainty behind them. "Come on, Mike, it was just a thing, a comment. I say stuff like that all the time." "And that's the problem," I said. "You say stuff like that all the time. You act like nothing matters. Like no one else feels anything. You and Mom both. You've treated me like I'm a ghost in this family unless you need something, money, groceries, rent, whatever. But the second I want something, even just basic decency, you make me feel like a burden." She scoffed. "You're not a burden." "No?" I inquired, my tone increasing. "Then what am I? Because I sure wasn't a brother. Not when you and Mom joked about me in the group chat. Not when you used the card to buy your little self-care days. Or when Mom charged her prescriptions to my account without even asking. Not when I paid your credit card debt last year just so you wouldn't tank your score." Her expression twisted. "I didn't ask you to do that." I laughed bitterly. "That's your go-to, huh? I didn't ask. Like silence is a defense. Like ignoring my birthday was okay because you didn't ask me to care about yours either. It doesn't work like that." She crossed her arms tighter and glanced at the floor. Okay, so what now? You just cut us off? I gazed at her and, for the first time, I felt no remorse. I'm not cutting you off, I said. I'm giving you back the life you wanted so badly without me in it. You didn't want a brother. You wanted a sponsor. Her eyes widened, but I did not pause. I tried for years to be enough, to be useful, to be helpful, to be wanted. But all I ever got back was sarcasm, silence, and an endless list of obligations. I don't want an apology. I don't want a hug. I want space. So you're evicting us? She demanded. You're seriously just throwing us out? Number. The lease was always in my name. I'm just not renewing it with you as a guest. You've got 30 days. I'll even pay for the moving truck if you don't make a scene. She blinked, surprised. You're serious? Dead serious. There was a prolonged pause. Then she attempted another angle. Mom's not well. You know that. She's stressed. She says things she doesn't mean. I breathed sharply. You want to talk about stress? Try being the guy who has to listen to his own mother call him emotionally unavailable because he stopped giving out blank checks. I'm not Mom, Celine mumbled. No, I agree. You're not. But you're not far off. She winced as though I had hit her. I'm sorry, she replied finally. And to her credit, I believe she meant it. I really am. I didn't think it mattered. I didn't think you cared. That hurt more than anything else. Of course I cared. That's why I stuck around this long. I turned the knob behind me. I'm not asking you to change, I clarified. I'm just not going to stick around waiting for it anymore. She stood motionless, lips slightly parted, no words coming. I didn't expect her to beg or cry. Celine isn't constructed that way. She was skilled at shrugging things off and pretending the world owed her nothing until it did. She then panicked. As I returned inside, I halted. By the way, I continued without turning around. I also canceled the family phone plan. You might want to look into that. I then closed the door. For the next hour, I stood in the kitchen, leaning against the counter and breathing. My hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from adrenaline. I was finally free. The silence in the room felt different now, less empty and more earned. But the fallout hadn't ended yet. That evening I received a call from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail, but the transcript appeared on my screen. Zephyr, it's Mom. I don't know what's going on, but this is cruel. I've been there for you, always. You don't do this to your family. You don't just walk away. Please call me. We can talk about this. I did not return the call. A few hours later, I received another message, this time via email. It was from my mother's lawyer. I didn't open the email immediately. I looked at the subject line. Urgent. Property ownership dispute. Action requested. And left it in my inbox for a few hours. Perhaps I was allowing myself time to consider. Perhaps I was expecting to feel anger, fear, remorse. But none of those arrived. Just a cold, calm resolution that informed me I was done playing the part they had written for me. Finally, I opened the message. The substance of the email was official, with courteous legalese that hardly disguised the desperation underlying it. The lawyer, Callum Vire, stated that my mother was questioning the legitimacy of recent changes to the property title and that she believed the townhouse should be deemed a family asset rather than an individual property. He requested a meeting with a friendly resolution. I nearly laughed. Friendly. I did not answer promptly. Instead, I dug out the folder that Yara at the bank had helped me organize account statements, the original property deed, the lease agreements, and the ownership transfer to my LLC. Everything was signed, notarized, and time-stamped. I even had an email chain from 2 years ago, when Mom signed the lease paperwork and agreed to be a tenant. She dismissed it at the time, laughing, "Just paperwork stuff for your taxes, right?" I agreed. I never expected to have to use it. Now I'm pleased I did. Still, I did not want this to get unpleasant. Despite everything, a quiet voice said, "Don't burn it down, just walk away." But I was beginning to realize that walking away appeared to them as treachery. To them, love only mattered if it cost me something. 2 days later, I sent a brief email back to the attorney. Dear Mr. Reeves, thank you for reaching out. The property in question is legitimately held by LLC name, and full documentation is available on request. Please take note that the leasing agreement made on date is still in effect. Clause 9. A states that the property owner reserves the right not to renew the lease when it expires. There has been no breach of contract.